Good morning, everybody. Cup of coffee, backpack. Went and got in and got me a nice clean shower. We're in Y, Montana. I don't know, because I am. We're gonna go ahead and fuel up and then skedaddle over to Washington. So, not bad showers here. Nice and clean. We're all good. Let's go grab our fuel. Let's get out of here. Well, I guess it's good morning. It's about 10 a.m. here in Montana. Welcome to beautiful Montana. We are cruising right along. It felt great to grab me a shower. Oh, sometimes a shower just at the right time just can revitalize the day. Yep. So, question to ask you guys: is anybody else annoyed with the fact that that Trump was attempted assassin a second time there down in Mar-a-Lago, down in Florida? Unbelievable, man. I mean, for me, it's gone beyond left or right. It's just out of control. I mean, it's just, I don't know how else you can say it. Try to get you guys back in focus. But yeah, it's just kind of, it's nuts. It's like their cheese is slid right off the cracker. I don't know. But as you can tell, well, side note, rabbit trail, you can see that autumn's coming into it's starting to come into bloom. We're having a good day. Truck's reading 53 degrees. Vacation went well. I know some probably, that if you saw my video from when I was on vacation, all the work that I did, you probably don't think that I did a vacation. But it felt fun. It felt good to find my inner digger, as they would say. So, I was going to pour concrete in there instead of putting the pavers, but I decided against that. Figure we got more work next year. We're going to rip that deck out. I'm going to design what I want to do is I want to pour concrete, but I want to put a backfill build because, okay, let me back it up. As you can see by the patio or by the deck, it's about 2.5 feet off the ground at the Arcadian doors, and then it's about 3.5 or whatever at the back end. And so I want to transition. I want to put, like, say, at least two separate patios. So where the one step is where we put the pavers, I want to do a fan step and a ramp so that my boys can go up the ramp without having to do the steps. It's a lot easier on the Doxy's back to not have to do steps and do sort of like a handicap ramp. So want to design something like that where it starts out at, like, say 4 feet at the top and fans out to 6 at the bottom, and maybe put a little bit of ramp in there. So just that, and then step that down to the pavers, and then over by the other front, step down 2 steps to another lower portion of the deck, and then step that down onto the backyard. So basically like 2 patios in one, with boulder rock wall, a boulder wall, retaining wall. So that's the deal. But let's get going. We can get to rolling. Good afternoon, everybody. We are done for the day. We're sitting here in Connell, Washington. Trying to figure out what I can chat with you guys, because I know earlier today we were talking a little bit about, the second attempt on former President Trump. That kind of sort of feeds into my, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Pastor Alan Jackson. He's out of the Murfreesboro, Tennessee area. And something that's always kind of bothered me about the church, capital C church, the body, not some building that we all come and sit in and, listen to a sermon, not one denomination over another, but what the Bible calls a church, we the people, not the buildings we sit in, but we the people. Kind of wonder, largely what's going on in America and around the world, but I'll just speak to America. Problem that I'm having is evil is going to be evil. We live in a sinful world, but I think what bothers me the most is how quiet the church is. We the people are just completely silent. We don't want to, we figure somehow we don't have a right to speak up, push back, even though we have a right to say stuff at schools. Here, like in my situation, my kids are all grown. My wife and I are empty nesters, other than the 3 little boys, our fur babies. But with my property tax that I pay in my house, goes towards stuff that they do at the schools. So my tax money pays for what goes on in that school. So to hear someone say you don't have really a right to say anything because you don't have kids at that school, but then why do you take my tax money to pay for the school? Yeah, I have a right to say something. But I think what happens is we get into this doldrum of sorts where, all this crap that's going on in America, and then you go to a church somewhere and there could be a riot in a parking lot, but if you were sitting at a church service, you wouldn't even know there was a riot in a parking lot. It's like there's like this disconnect. And so I've been listening to a little bit of, well, not a little bit, but a lot of Alan Jackson's ministry that the Lord has worked me through. I'm not nuts. I've been it's almost like sometimes you feel like you're standing in a crowded room screaming at the top of your lungs and nobody hears you. It's like a disconnect. It's like the American church has become like some food restaurant on almost every corner. They're more worried about filling the seats, don't say anything that may rock the boat, even though the pastor is probably, severely overweight, got health issues, but don't want to address the issues of gluttony. Yeah, I got a problem with that. And, and I don't mean to offend anybody. And this isn't a fat shaming thing. This is just a reality that, it's incumbent upon us to figure out what we're eating. It's incumbent on us to figure out and learn what we're reading and studying. And is the pastor that we're listening to telling us the full counsel of God, or is he just sugarcoating things, or not? Just, I don't know. It's a whole litany of things that are just bothering me. And it's almost like somehow, because I'm a Christian, I'm somehow not allowed to have a point of view on what's going on in our political world, or with all these babies that are being aborted, how about we just go back to teaching how to, leave that for the marriage. It just is. It's not a judgment thing, but it's like I'm a type A, type B. Just connect the dots. And if I can't connect the dots, I have a hard time trying. And I'm a skeptic by nature, so I have a hard time buying things when I know the pastor or the politician or the doctor or the food industry or any of these people are just flat out lying. And I got a problem with that. And I don't mince words. I've been kind of not wanting to really put this on this channel, but this stuff really just, I'm fine. So please don't leave comments thinking, Paul, calm down. No, the days of calm down are over. That's why we're in the situation that we're in, because we are too damn quiet. We've allowed them to take God out of the schools, out of the churches, basically it's out of everything. Okay, and it's okay. No, it's not. There's like, I forget what the number is, something like 3,000 babies a year or something that are aborted. And yet you go to a church, any church, name a church, any street corner in any town in any state, and you don't hear about that. That should be an outcry. I mean, you don't have to be a lunatic. I mean, that's just in the scriptures. So this is a little bit of a rant on that things are stirring in me, because it's nice to hear a pastor from the pulpit talk about culture and Christianity and how they should merge together. Okay, it's not like, there is sin, and sin's gonna happen. I sin. I do every day. Don't mean to, but I just do. I don't have to be taught. Here's how you know everybody's a sinner. You got to teach your little one, like a newborn. What do you got to teach them? You don't have to teach them how to lie. They'll already do that right out of the womb. You got to tell them. You got to teach them how to tell the truth, have integrity. These are just some of the things that are really lighting up inside of me right now. And it's just kind of, you look around and somehow it's okay that a former president within a couple of months' time has been attempted assassinations. I mean, it's just people's cheese is slid right off their damn cracker. I mean, come on, wake the heck up. And if we're Christians, let's start acting like one. We all have to walk out our own faith with fear and trembling, but my goodness, to say nothing, I might as well be the one pulling the trigger. Like I heard one preacher say, how much do I need to hate you to not tell you the truth? If I know you're going off a cliff, you don't see the cliff, but I know you're about to go over one. How much do I need to hate you to not tell you about the cliff you're about to drive off of? Just saying, I love you guys. And I know this channel doesn't amount to much anything. It's about a handful of people that like to leave comments, and I thoroughly appreciate all of you guys. I never want to take any of you guys for granted, but if you've ever wondered, this isn't politics for me. This isn't a left thing, right thing. I mean, it's just a moral thing. This country's lost its moral compass. And a lot of it, in my own opinion, is just thus saith me. It's because the church has been woefully silent for a good 40, 50 years. It just sits idly by. And we're to obey our government, and I'm not anti-government. But we only obey the government right up to the point where it makes you violate God's law. I don't go along to get along. everybody's going that way, more than likely I'll be going that way. Just my nature. I'm skeptic by nature. I mean, I've been a survivor my entire life. My old man passed away when I was 10. Just had to figure it out. My mom did the best she could, raising 3 boys. You know, I was the youngest of 4. I got 2 older brothers and 1 older sister. You know, you just figured it out. Had to work. She looked at me and my brother and said, hey, whatever money you can earn to help mom out, you know. So basically I stopped being a 10-year-old and started earning money any way I could, whether it was baling hay, shoveling manure, you know, working farms, you know, walking bean fields back in the day, you know, whatever I could do, yard mowing, trimming hedges, weeding gardens, harvesting for people, whatever I could do to earn money to help my mom out, you know. So that's why some of you guys wonder, you know, all you ever see me do is work. I don't know anything else. I really don't. I mean, I never developed that, you know, that play thing. Playtime will come eventually. Even like last week on vacation, I know I'm getting off on a real big tangent. Like last week on vacation, I can't sit idly by. I'm not a guy that's just gonna sit around, sit on the couch. We don't travel. We don't, because of my wife's lower back issues, so it makes travel very difficult. So we don't go anywhere. So this year we decided to get a little bit of the yard work done. My wife just told me that they removed 2 of the trees in my front yard and one of the berry bushes that was in the front by the my gas lines in the front. So I don't have to bend anymore to get underneath those 2 dwarf trees that were in the front. So I make no apologies for not being. I'm just a worker, and I like to connect dots, you know, like those connect the dots to draw a picture. Well, if I can't connect the dots, something just is off for me, and I just can't accept things. And that's basically like that survival thing created a skeptic in me. So I'm skeptical of everything. And if anything we learned with Fauci, holy crap, was taught when I was a kid, believe the doctors, you know, the doctor's not gonna lie to you. You know, they're never trained on nutrition. But yet somehow that person, male or female, doesn't matter, somehow is the authority on nutrition, even though they don't know anything about it because they weren't trained. But because they're a doctor and they have a white coat on and they've got a scope around their neck, somehow I'm supposed to believe them like they're the second coming of Christ. No. And Fauci proved that one beyond a shadow of a doubt. You don't even have to put a tinfoil hat on. That was a train wreck. So I know I ran long. This is a lot of info. And if you guys unsubscribe, that's fine. I don't mind. I never did this channel anyway for subscriptions. I mean, I'm surprised they even got whatever I do have right now. And I appreciate the comments that some of you guys leave. I really do. And if some of you are offended by me talking about my faith and churches not teaching their flocks correctly, now I'm not an authority on the word, but I do get into the word, and you know, I just want to know what I need to know in order to survive my butt out here driving in this traffic out here and processing how I shouldn't run the front end of my truck right into the back end of some of these people's cars or trucks or vans or whatever they're driving that they seem to not know how to drive. That's my own cross to bear. So yeah, it's just, I want to be able to talk about the policies and politics and my faith and my Christianity. They dovetail together. They're synonymous. They're together. They're synonymous in one. So I don't know how I can, you know, have them separate, because one affects the other. they're together. So on that, guys, gals, I love you. If you stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And it won't always be like this every day, but I would love to talk about some of this a little bit more often. Get a conversation going. Like Pastor Allen was saying, I have a small platform. I don't have many people. What can I do? I can't do anything. I don't know anybody. I don't have a platform. I can't. You have a people group that are around you. And if you know truth about something, share it with someone. Share it in your own little groups. Share it at your church. Share it at the grocery store. Go to the gas station, or people that you just know. I mean, it has to do this grassroots thing. We shouldn't have to rely on a church that's got a big old megaphone and everything to do what we should already be doing on our own. Amen. On that, again, I'd like to say thank you. God bless. I love you guys. Lord willing, we do have Seattle on board. We do not have Seattle in the box, but we're going to go to Seattle because they got 4 pallets for me to pick up. So we will do Vancouver in the morning. We'll unload, reload in Vancouver. Then we'll drive up to Seattle. It's tough for me to video anything in between Vancouver and Seattle on I-5 just because it's so chaotic, and you really don't drive in too much country. It's just one town after another after another after another, so there's always a boatload of traffic. So I've tried to figure out how to get a little bit of that info or some of that footage in between there, but it's just super busy, and I'd rather pay attention to my driving than trying to grab 30 seconds of video that somebody could be cutting me off with. But I've ran this long. On that, God bless. I love you guys. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Keep the faith. Get a good diet. Become a label warrior. Flip the labels. Read the labels. Know what you're eating. Know what you're reading. Confess the word of God. Love Jesus. All that good stuff. God bless. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow if you want to come along.